Hi, my name is BC Hoffman.
And I'm Adrian Bustamante.
And today on Recipe Wars, we are doing clam chowder. Just note to all viewers, I don't like New England Patriots, but we're doing New England clam chowder. So, damn you, Tom Brady.
And
damn you.
Yeah, and the tank top. The tank top means something
Southies
too.
everywhere,
Yeah.
unite.
It's nice.
So a little man chowder for you guys. So that being said, let's get started.
Yeah.
I think both of our recipes are really cut and dry and pretty go-to, basic, gusto in your face. I'm doing Alton Brown's recipe, and he takes it as traditional as it can get. Just shy of coming over the boat from Europe.
Just shy. I'm doing Emeril Lagasse's Fall River chowder. Not sure why he calls it Fall River, but it is, again, a basic, straight, cut and dry chowder. Got the clams, got the bacon. I'm doing bacon as my base, so I'm rendering that, but you're rendering something else.
Salt pork.
Salt pork.
Yes.
Not pork salt.
Not South Park, salt pork. Salt pork is actually the sides, the back, and the front of the carcass of the pig, and it's actually just salt cured. There you go, there you have it. Let's get started.
Boom.
So I'm gonna take mine, you're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna render our bacon.
Render.
Our salt pork. Rendering. What's rendering, you're asking? Rendering is basically taking your pork product, throwing it in a hot pan, and getting these bad boys nicely browned and having a nice amount of fat left over on the bottom. That's rendering.
Gotta love that fat flavor coming in your chowder, you know?
Yes.
So what would you say is the biggest difference between bacon and pork salt?
Salt pork is
Salt pork.
is salted, is salt cured, and bacon is smoked. So, I mean, really they both come from pork belly and the sides of the carcass of the actual pig, but that's the only difference. That's it, bottom line. So that one has a little bit of a more smoky flavor, this one's more salty. And they both work really well with chowder. Now, what's the difference between New England clam chowder, you say,
and
Manhattan clam chowder? Now that, my friends, is
a whole lot of gross to
Yeah.
me. I'm not a big fan of Manhattan clam chowder because I don't like tomatoes in my clam chowder.
So, yeah, cream and potatoes should be your base, not tomatoes. It's just not what I like, but
Agreed.
whatever.
Wholeheartedly agreed. Now I'm using, once this is done rendering, I'm actually using onions, celery, and carrots. Are you using any vegetables in yours?
I'm doing potatoes and onions, but what's really cool about this one is Alton Brown uses canned clams, but he also uses fresh clams. So we're gonna use the combination thereof. When looking for good clams, one of the tips that's definitely recommended is tap them. If it sounds hollow, you don't want it. If it sounds like it's full and makes just a loud noise, that's the good one to get. Hollow means that it's filled with basically mud, and you don't want that.
What's the name of a hollow clam? What do they call it? Quick!
A mutter!
It's called a mutter.
A mutter! Go ask your mother. Ah, yes.
Now, those are his clams. My clams are fresh clams. So I'll be adding these a little bit later. But yeah, we use fresh. We're done. I'm rendered. Are you rendered, my friend?
I am rendered.
Now, I don't know if we mentioned rendering, but when you're rendering at home, make sure you're actually cooking it on a very low heat because you don't want your bacon to burn. You just want to kind of suck all the fat out of that bacon, have it in the base of your pan, and then you can go from there. Now, I am not removing my bacon, but this gentleman is removing his bacon.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm removing my bacon, but I'm keeping my fat that's in the bottom of my pan.
Yes.
That's all just added flavor. This is more of like an accoutrement or garnish for the actual chowder.
And now, while my bacon fat and bacon are in there, I'm gonna be adding my celery, my onion, and my carrots. Or as Emulsifying Lagasse likes to call it, mirepoix.
Oh, my Trinity, my mirepoix.
It's Trinity.
Yeah,
But-
Emerald.
Now I'm gonna saute these up until the onions start to get translucent, the vegetables start to kind of wilt a little bit, and we'll move on from there. But this guy's just picking out bacon.
I'm picking out bacon, and then I'm actually gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna throw my onions in and get those nice and sweaty. That'll take about roughly 5 minutes to do. And once they're translucent, I am going to throw in my potatoes.
Ah, sweaty onions.
I like my onions sweaty.
Yeah. I have about 5 minutes as well, so once this is all done, we'll come back.
So we just finished sauteing our onions and I am ready to throw in my potatoes. Note to viewers out there, these are potatoes. They got oxidized, meaning oxygen hit them and we had them out for a little too long and not sitting in water, so they are brown now. But they're still good, they're great, and they're going in a chowder, so it really doesn't matter.
You didn't just get potatoes on the cheap?
Well, they're dollar store potatoes. No, they oxidized. Sorry about that, viewers at home. So I'm gonna throw my potatoes in here. I'm gonna stir them around in the remainder of the bacon fat and sauteed onions, get them nicely coated, and then I'm gonna throw in my milk just enough so it covers the potatoes. That's gonna then cook for roughly, depending on how small you actually cut the potato, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes, bare minimum. It could go anywhere up to 15 to 20 though. What are you doing?
Well, I've added some salt and pepper to my mirepoix and bacon. Now that that's in there, what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of flour to it, or create a little bit of a roux, if you will, or start to thicken up my soup before I put my stock in there or my clam juice. So I'm just gonna mix this around, make sure I kind of get all that that flour cooked out of there so you get that taste, but it won't really bother you as much just because we're gonna be adding so much extra stuff in here. It's not gonna really be an issue. But we'll be doing this, and then next up for me is about 2 cups of, excuse me, ooh, we got 4 cups of clam juice.
Speaking of which, so the recipe calls for 2 cups, but Alton Brown actually suggests having at least 4 cups backed up, so I'm gonna get 2 more cups in here because I need to cover my potatoes.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 cups of cream I'm gonna throw back in here, cover them potatoes.
All right.
Judith Jones is next to you now.
Okay.
Potatoes.
Potatoes. All right, so this is starting to thicken up just a little bit. I'm gonna take some bay leaves, toss them in here as well, and then comes the clam juice. So we got 4 cups of clam juice come flying in. Now once this is in here, you're gonna let it come to a boil. It's gonna take a few minutes to come to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, we're gonna add a few more extra pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah. Now, the few extra pieces you're gonna ask yourself are what? Yes, we're gonna go in with the clams. Now you can get them canned, you can get them fresh. Again, my recipe's using both. I'm gonna steam these, but these only take about 3 minutes to steam, so I'm not gonna do that quite yet because this is gonna take at least 10 minutes right here. And then I've got the canned clams. Now canned clams are cooked, so you wanna put these in at the very end because they're already cooked and it'll just become mush otherwise. Granted, we are gonna use a food processor, so it's still gonna become mush, but it'll still have texture, and that's what you want.
So I'll be adding my potatoes once I add my cream to this dish. So I'm gonna wait for this to come to a boil, add my cream, add my potatoes, let those become fork tender, and then I'll be adding my clams.
Fork tender.
Fork tender. Now, fork tender is just what it sounds like. I'm gonna stick a fork in it. If it's tender enough for my fork to stick and for me to pull it out and take a bite, we're good.
That's what she said. I like tongue tender. And basically, that's where I can basically just kind of smush them a little bit with my tongs. That's what I'm going for.
Tongue tender. So this has come to a boil. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of my thyme and then immediately throw in my potatoes until they get fork tender.
Did you like my time reference?
It was nice. It was a nice reference. I'm glad it was slight, but still good. All right. So again, just let these kind of get in there, mix in, let them tenderize a little bit, and then what are we waiting on with you?
We're waiting on my potatoes to be tongue tender.
Ooh.
I just created that term, by the way.
Tender.
I like it.
Again, once these potatoes become tender enough, I'm gonna add my cream as well as my clams, and then we'll be pretty much done.
And viewers at home, you're probably wondering, why does he have a giant sheet pan on top of his pot? Well, the reason why is because this quickens the process and we're steaming it, getting it nice and tender, so that's why.
He doesn't have a top big enough to cover his pot, basically, is what happened.
I bet you viewers at home are like, why does he have 2 pots? And if you weren't, now you are, because I just implied that. But anyway, that being said, I've got 2 pots. The small pot right here in front I'm gonna turn on, and the reason for that is it's time to steam some clams. So in this pot, I have
Steam basket.
Steam basket.
Steam basket.
Steam basket. And I have clam juice. I'm gonna throw that in. This clam juice is from the canned clams. That's right, because it came in there. So I'm gonna throw that in there. And then I'm gonna throw in my clams in about 2 minutes once this actually is getting hot and pretty much boiled. I'd say about 3 minutes realistically. I'm gonna take my cooked clams, I'm gonna put those in my mixture of cream and potatoes and onions and bacon fat.
There's a lot of staccato in your voice just now. That was very nice.
Thank you. I'm actually really excited about this because I've been eating nonstop the salt pork.
Oh yeah, can I have some?
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. My potatoes are fork tender, so I'm gonna add a little bit of cream. What do you say?
Do it.
Here we go. Now it's about 2 cups of cream. The potatoes being in there have added more starch to my soup, so it's actually added to the thickness of the soup as well. Now it's time to get a little cream in there.
Get it
more
creamy.
Flavor.
That's a great segue. So, you know, where do you stand? Are you on the I want it to be thicker, or do I want it to be a thinner soup?
I like thinner soup because I like bread bowl clam chowder. That was like my favorite. We don't have bread bowls here today, but I like thin clam chowder in a bread bowl. My favorite.
See, I fell in love with the clam chowder that I had at the Legal Seafood Test Kitchen in Boston. It was amazing, hands down, and they have a really thick consistency to it. Not Legal Seafood, but the Legal Seafood Test Kitchen. That's where they test all their products, and that's like the amazing one versus like the fast food version, so to speak. Not like Legal Seafood's fast food, but anyway. That being said, I like it thicker. I like it to have that consistency, and I think the thicker it is, it's better in a bread bowl, personally.
Hey, you know, that's why we do this. That's why we do this show.
Yes. So I'm going right here
good.
with the boiling.
Oh, that's good, guys. I just had a taste. That's good.
Is nice. I'm throwing my clams right in here. Make sure they go in the basket. This is gonna take no more than 3 minutes to steam them.
See this smile? Because the soup's so good.
I can't even lie, I love both these recipes, so it's gonna be interesting to see which one is the winner, because they're both really good.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling
I'm
good?
feeling good, feeling great.
Good. My cream's in there. Now I'm gonna take my clams and throw them in the pot. We're gonna simmer it for about 2 minutes once they're inside. After that, I got a little bit of cayenne left. I got some parsley left. That's gonna be it for me.
Yeah, I got the parsley and I've got my salt pork, which is
Come on, clams.
almost completely done.
Here we go, clams. almost gone.
Almost gone. I should be saving it for the soup, but
Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
chowder.
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 How's your tasting already?
How's it tasting?
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, obviously I won't taste it yet because that'll defeat the purpose of this whole show.
yeah.
But
well,
how's it going?
That tastes pretty stupendous. So if you're using salt pork at home, just make sure you add salt after you add the salt pork, because the salt pork is going to add a lot of salt to your soup. It's also going to dry out your insides, like MSG almost, as it did with Adrian.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. this little piece is like a little salt lick. I mean, this little thing right here. So imagine, I mean, all this.
It's a salt lick with bacon.
But it's good. All right, my clams have been simmering. I'm gonna throw a little cayenne pepper in there, a little flavor and color. Got some parsley as well. Mix them all up. Now, Emerald added some sweet corn. I'm not gonna add sweet corn. I just don't feel like it. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
You know, to me, there's no really reason for it, but if you like sweet corn at home, feel free to throw it in there. But, I mean, mine's tasting good, it's looking good. Your clams looking like they're getting ready to get out of that pot
I got
and hop
about
in the
30
other.
more seconds right here, and they're ready to pop up in here.
All right, so it looks like I'm gonna put this on simmer and wait for this guy to get done.
Yes.
Boom.
The last thing we're gonna add, actually, is the leftover clam juice. We're gonna throw that in here. Then we're gonna have the actual clams just sitting in there as basically a garnish. You aren't gonna use the steamed clams. You could, but we're just gonna use that more as a garnish on top. And then I'm gonna take my blender right here, my hand blender, and I'm gonna throw that in there and emulsify till it's the consistency that I want, which is gonna kind of be chunky, but not too chunky, semi-smooth, nice in between.
Semi-smooth.
Semi-smooth man chowder, just for you ladies at home and gentlemen. Ooh.
Hey, you got kids at home.
And kids. Wait,
Sorry, guys.
no. Well, now I feel inappropriate making that comment.
As you should.
Alrighty, check this out.
Check it.
Boom! Ready and excited. So right here, I've got my clams. I'm gonna grab these bad boys.
Be careful, be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have hands made of pure leather like DC at home, that might have not been the best way to take your clams out of the pot.
Kitchen hand is a beautiful thing. So I've got my clam juice that's nice and hot. I'm gonna add this right into the pot. And now I'm going to emulsify my clam chowder. Okay. And while I'm doing this, actually, since it is blending for me, I'm gonna add in a little bit of salt because I tried it already and I know that it needs a little bit more salt and a little pepper. And actually, I really like the cayenne effect. I would actually use paprika personally.
Oh, these are good. These are nice. Nice clams.
Why, thank you. That makes me happy as a clam.
I'm just gonna eat some more of your salt pork.
Okay, so that's about the consistency I want. So it's smooth, but at the same time there's chunks. That's what I'm going for right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. See right in there, that's beautiful. And I am ready to plate up. Are you ready to plate up? I'm ready to plate up. Let's plate these bad boys.
Oh, I'm ready to plate.
Oh.
Plating time, guys.
Plating time. One last.
Should I get a good little mix in there?
Chowder.
Oh, look at those clams. Bacon. It's nice. Oh yeah. Leave a little room. Leave a little room in there.
Thanks for the ladle.
Hey, no problem. You know?
He gets himself like a real ladle and he gives me like a spoon. He's like, here.
I went and did all the work. There wasn't 2 ladles. I took the ladle. That's what happens.
I'm plated.
You plated?
I'm plated.
All right, I'm plated.
Alrighty.
That.
Put that right there.
Boom. All right, man. All right, I got my spoon.
Oh, that looks delicious.
You got your spoon.
Yes.
Let's taste.
Alrighty, let's do it. Are we starting with emerald or are we starting with
I like the way yours looks. Let's go with you. Let's go with you first.
Well, I'm throwing in more.
All right, let's bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back. All right, let's go.
Okay, let's do it. Make sure you get some of that salt pork on there.
It's a good chowder. The salt pork garnish gives it a little kick. Not as creamy as I like mine, but it's still a good chowder. I was surprised that it isn't, I guess clammy isn't really a good word. It doesn't taste a lot like clams, just because there was so much, fresh clam and clam juice and all this stuff going into it. But it's really, really good.
It's got more of like a potato chowder consistency
It does.
and flavor to it. Like I feel like this would be like the perfect like baked potato chowder.
It's a very good thing. It was more of a corn chowder. Potato chowder, sorry. Whatever. Just
One of the vegetables.
Have my soup.
Try my soup. Aha. That was a Coming to America reference, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
It was. Try the soup. It's hot soup.
Is the soup too hot?
Taste the soup.
Oh, yeah. So, I just burned my tongue, but...
Yeah. Now that you can't taste it, this whole competition is shot.
Well, that's really good. It's definitely more
They're too
liquidy. It's almost too liquidy. They're completely different in the consistency.
They're 2 completely different soups. I hate it when this happens, guys.
They're drastically different. It's got great flavor. It's got spice. My nose is runny. My mouth is still burning from the actual temperature, not the heat from the spice. But yeah, and this one has just...
Damn it.
Ah, man. They'd both be great in bread bowls.
Ooh.
As far as just straight up clam though, neither of them really have a clam taste.
They don't. I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not very surprised that mine doesn't have a big clam taste, considering all I really used was that, that clam juice.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the clams also for my thing, and they're fresh, but I think it's.
I think again, this is one of those ones where if you blend both recipes, it would be perfect.
This is good, but this is good too. Can we get someone in to taste?
I think we need guest taster. Guest taster.
We need it because they're two very different.
You're on. Come on over. Hey. Yeah. Okay. So
what's happening, man?
we got 2 different types of chowder going. Found this guy on the street. No, he actually found us actually, so that works.
He works
out
here,
well.
so it works out perfectly for us.
So I've got Alton Brown's clam chowder. He's never met us before. And he has Emeril Lagasse's recipe. They're both great, they're just completely different. So by all means, we liked them both. Unfortunately, too much.
Whatever
so we
you want,
couldn't decide
man.
which
Eeny,
one we
meeny,
liked
miny,
better.
Perfect.
I like curly.
This one's a little temperature hot, so just be prepared for that.
So if I burn
Blow
my
on
tongue,
it.
I
Blow
can
on
see
it.
Well, you can't sue me, you just won't be able to taste anything.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding.
Oh, God.
Really good.
Blah. No,
I want this for dinner.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Well, wait, try this one.
You're
And
like,
then-
wait, no, this is done, it's over.
And then actually, you kind of, I feel like, yeah, this is part of it, so you gotta get that in there too.
He's all, but I don't like clams.
Yeah, I'm not like a seafood.
Oh, well, in that case, don't eat the clam.
Yeah, then go,
It's only
just,
because you have that hat on.
Fair enough. Yeah. I'm not rocking the Patriots hat. I'm rocking a New England hat. There's a difference.
That is good.
they're both good, I told you. This is hard, this is tough.
I think this would be my new diet.
Is this clam chowder diet?
Chowder.
It's gonna go well.
Is that like the soup diet, except
Yeah.
it's chowder?
Just chowder.
I think you're gonna put on some weight with
The
this
BC and Adrian diet.
diet. Yeah. The BC Adrian Man chowder diet.
I don't want to be any part of that diet.
It's really good. I commend you too.
Thank you. But
So
now
who's
you-
the winner
now you
there?
have to choose.
There can be only one.
Yeah,
It's
now
kind
you
of
have
like
to choose.
Highlander.
So, being that I'm not such a creamy type guy,
Oh,
Yeah.
well then we know where you're going.
I'm gonna have to go with.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
This was made with cream, ladies and gentlemen. This was not. So, that being said, the winner,
Adrian.
Adrian doing Emeril's recipe, and a very good close second, but completely different flavor would be Alton Brown's. That being said, thank you very much to our guest
Thank
taste
you.
tester.
But very tasteful and with elegance.
Yeah.
It works because he's
I like
with two tasteless hosts. So,
Yeah. So it all balances out in the end, guys. All right. Well,
my name is BC Hoffman.
I'm Adrian Bustamante.
I'm Lee Rowan.
This has been Recipe Wars. Please subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and now subscribe to our email at recipewars.com. You guys keep watching, and we'll keep cooking.